Up this slide, we have our reciprocal function, which is 1 over x. So we're going to do a table of values with that one. So we're going to use 6, we're going to use negative 2, negative 1, negative 1/2, positive 1/2, one and 2. And we plug those in, we get negative 1/2, negative 1, negative 2, positive 2, 1, and 1/2. All right, so those are our parent function coordinates. So just to show those, we have here, here, and here. And here, here, and here. So just be careful when you draw these that you do not cross over your asymptotes, which are right here at x equals 0 and y equals 0. So what we have going on in this one is going to be, we'll skip that. We'll skip the first one, but we are going to do the second one, which is 5 over 3x plus 2 plus 5. So we have a vertical stretch of 5. You can think of it as 5 times 1 over 3x plus 2. And plus 5. Okay, this is the same thing, but at least this way you can see the vertical stretch by a factor of 5. Here it's a little harder to tell. But first things first, we're going to have to move to the left 2. So all of our x values are going to get shifted to the left 2. So negative 2 is now negative 4. Negative 1 is now negative 3. Negative 1/2 is now negative 2.5 or negative 5/2, same thing. 1/2 is now negative 3/2. Negative 1 and 0. And you can use decimals here. It really won't make a difference. Okay, so that takes care of the plus 2. Now we can do the vertical stretch or the horizontal shrink. It doesn't matter. You can do them both at the same time. But I'll do the vertical stretch first. So all of these y values are going to get multiplied by 5. So here I have negative 5/2. Here I have negative 5. Here I have negative 10. Positive 10, 5, and 5/2. And that takes care of this one. And again, this is a horizontal shrink because it's 3. It kind of goes opposite of what you'd think. So we're going to divide all of the x values by 3. So I'll do that one over here, which gives me negative 4/3, negative 1. It's going to be negative 5/6. This one will actually give me negative 1/2 when you do it out. Divide by 3, multiplying by 1/3. Negative 1/3. Sorry, this one's 1/2. This one's negative 1/3. And 0 is still 0. All right, so there's our horizontal shrink by a factor of 3, and then add 5 to all the y values to take care of this plus 5. And then we're done. So negative 5/2 or negative 2.5 is going to become positive 2.5 or positive 5/2. Negative 5 plus 5 is 0. Negative 10 plus 5 is negative 5. My 10 is going to be at 15, so a little bit off the graph. 5 will be at 10. 2.5 or 5/2 will be 15/2 or 7.5. And we can graph those. But what we're going to see with this shift up 5, that literally is just going to take our horizontal asymptote that was here and kind of shift it up 5. A little differently than with the horizontal asymptote. that plus 2 means it is moving left 2, but with the horizontal shrink in there, technically your asymptote is not going to be at -2, even though you move left 2. It's kind of like you want to set the denominator equal to 0 and you get -2/3. So that's where it would be. So you can draw that in if you wanted, but these points will take care of the graph. Although it is a little harder to see because it is so stretched out. But we'll plot these. So we have -4/3, 2.5. Right about there. -1, 0. And then we have -5/6, -5. And that's kind of the direct. It's really hard to see it because it's so stretched out, but I'll show it on the graphing calculator in a second. Here we have -1/2, 15, so that's kind of where it shifts, so it's somewhere up there. -1, sorry, yeah, -1/3, 10. And 0, 7.5. So we're going to get something that actually goes, right, this was our, it will kind of go this way. And you can certainly graph some more points to see it, but this is a general direction. And again, that vertical was at -2/3 from looking at the denominator. So that's what the final should be. A little bit cleaner picture would be if we type it in. So we have 5/3x plus 2 plus 5. And actually, I think I had typed this in before. 5/3x plus 2 plus 5. Perfect. So if I go to graph, you will see it. It does kind of look like the one we drew, but much cleaner. So that's it. What you guys are going to do now is start the homework, which is page 81. You're doing 19 through 49, and then you are picking 10 of those questions to graph.